On December 25, 2023, the first ever podcast was uploaded in MWM, and the guest speaker was Aparajita Sharma, and the book was Tell Me About Your Dreams. And then we had Jimmy James, Saigam, Nitya, Nilina, Sanchayan, Akshay, Lakshay, Srihari, Sam Cruz, Sharmila, Sanjay, Dhanasekaran, Sai Prashant, Subbu. The latest guest speaker was Tanya. So I hope I covered everybody's name. We are hitting the 50th podcast today episode across different topics. So we have covered books, movies, filmmaking, gaming, and even theater. One episode of theater I did solo podcast. So I'm really glad that I am able to complete the podcast 50th podcast, and I was not able to do it alone. All the guest speakers, because of all the guest speakers. So yeah, it's going to be another podcast tonight. It's December 21st, 2024, Saturday. 23 degrees Celsius, not so cold, humid, by the way. Beautiful weather in Bangalore, and this is going to be the agenda today. We have a guest speaker returning for the nth time. I'll tell you which and during the podcast. And the topic today is Indian history and heritage. Thanks to the guest speaker, beautiful topic again. And the case study is going to be Karthikeya 2 movie, which is a Telugu Hindi movie. Primary language was Telugu. And as usual, we'll have fun activities. So without any further delay, let's begin the 50th podcast episode.
Yay!
MWM
First
YouTube.
of all, congratulations, Maddie.
Hey, once again. Yeah, sorry. I was playing the intro card, so you can congratulate me now.
So I was saying, congratulations, Maddie.
Yeah.
It's quite a milestone, and I wish we do another like 1,000 more episodes.
Oh my God, that's not my dream, but yeah, thank you for giving a task.
So we have let's aim for 1,000, then we can reach 500.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to MWN Podcast. I'm at DawsoN, and we have the guest speaker. She already spoke. So Sharmila is the returning guest speaker, and she's returning for the fifth time, matching the record with Sam Cruz. So we are hitting 50. We have hit 50. So if you calculate the percentage, Shamila 5 episodes and Sam Cruz 5 episodes together, they have contributed 20% each. And that means 10 episodes, 5 each, and that's a major contribution. So thank you so much, Sam Cruz. And in this moment, I'll recall him. And thank you so much, Shamila. And yeah, please give us a short intro about yourself. I hope everybody knows you, but still, for people who may not know you.
Short, like I'll keep it really short. So I am a movie buff. I think that we have established that for the past four episodes, podcasts,
Hmm.
and yeah, I like discussing movies and the narratives and how it affects people or the emotions that it hits and it triggers, and I like that discussion. So that's I think that's how we both started. You and I started the first episode, that how a disturbing ending to a movie, it's a person and it's different, and that's the beauty of such discussions. So uh, hope you have such wonderful discussions with a lot of other brilliant and beautiful minds out there. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah, special note of appreciation here. Sharmila is the one who brought a new dimension to our podcast. So she always comes with a topic rather than just a movie or book. And yeah, because of that, now I have started troubling other guest speakers. Give me topic. Let's not just talk about books. Okay, let's directly jump into the podcast. So the topic was you had specifically mentioned Indian history or heritage. So do you like to give your note on the topic?
Yes, of course, of course. um, See, I think first of all, the I want to just go back to the previous sentence that you said. The reason why I come up with topics is if I just give you a movie's name, like for example, John Wick or Sholay or Karthikeya one or two. It those are very popular movies. So uh, the reason I always come up with an agenda is I want to weave a structure to the movie, and the movie, it should be the topic that we are discussing and the movie as a case study. So that was my thought process. It's a little nerdy, so I'm sorry
Even I'm a
for
nerd,
that.
so don't have to be ashamed.
Yeah, and coming to your question, uh, what is my thought process or viewpoint about Indian or ancient India heritage? It's See, the thing is, many of uh, many of us, especially Gen Z, and many of us in our early 30s, and people in their 20s, we don't it's my assumption that uh, people have not read the Veds and the Purans and the Upanishads, and they are available for free. You know, you can buy them also, but they are also available online for free if you don't want to read, because there is, like, you know, there are like pages after pages after pages, it's long scriptures, so you can listen to it when you are about to sleep. There are different audiobooks. So the moment I started reading these Upanishads and Purans, uh, Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, and I realized that our and it these and mind you, these scriptures are ancient scriptures. Okay, so rishis and munis have, it's been said that rishis and munis have written it. So if you, or if somebody starts reading these scriptures or even listening to these scriptures, you will see that our culture, right, the culture of Bharat is or was way ahead of its time, right? uh, like uh, all these concepts, like again I'm digressing uh, a little bit, and it can be a little, not, I wouldn't say controversial, but many, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't see the point of celebrating Women's Day or Men's Day or feminism for that matter, because they are not Indian concepts, right? They are concepts of the Western world, right?
Yeah,
They are concepts of the Western world. The ancient India, you know, because Kartikeya has a major element of Lord Krishna. You
yeah,
know, till date, if you go to Vrindavan, there is a saying that if you want to, like, the disciples or the devotees or the bhaktas, they are told that if you want to go near Krishna spiritually, if you want to go near Krishna, you know what they are told? They are said that you take Radha's name. So if you go to Vrindavan, you will hear people say Radhe Radhe. They pick up the phone, they don't say hello, they say Radhe Radhe. Goodbye, they don't say goodbye, they say Radhe Radhe, right? And in your Dwapar Yug, Ram, Lord Ram, right, again, Vishnu's avatar, Lord Ram, he was referred to as Sumitra Nandan. Arjun, Yudhishthir in Mahabharat were referred to as Kunti Putra, right? So in our culture, we like our culture, if the more and more a person reads or even listens in or through audiobooks, our culture is much more ahead of its time, and it was much more richer. And we automatically used to give women a very woman was supposed to be uh, the power that would help the men or the kings of the society to thrive, right? It's the so they were not equal. They were given a very, very beautiful divine energy. That the thing is, the thing that so there is one line in one of the Upanishads that says that when the weight of what do you say, when the weight of injustice, asuras, when the weight of injustice by the asuras is so much that Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, like the Tridev, the Trinity, their powers couldn't end or couldn't defeat. Together their powers was imbibed by one energy, and that energy was female Shakti. So if, like, the more you read about this, you all these things like feminism, now it's pseudo feminism, women's day, you know men's day. So all these things, it becomes very like it's not, I mean, like, I don't, you will not understand why these things are being celebrated even today. People, I in my opinion, the more people start reading Upanishads, people start reading Veds, they will understand what is it to actually respect a woman, what does it mean to actually respect a mother. Through stories after stories after stories, like when we were kids, we were told stories, just a simple story, right? But the more you grow up, you understand the esoteric and the deeper meanings of it, and then you understand that, okay, fine, why uh, you know the power that one gender holds, and the power that male is strength but female is energy, and together only and they are they complete each other. So that is a beautiful thing that has been, you know that has been tried to communicate, or that has been communicated through stories after stories after stories. And even if people, like, even if somebody does not want to or does not have the time to listen to the Veds and Purans, there is the Gita Sar. Nowadays there is a shorter form of Gita Sar. You don't have to, take 11 hours or 12 hours to read the Gita or to listen to the Gita audiobook. There is a 45-minute version of it where it's just like tuck 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 tuck, all the teachings are there, and it just teaches you how to navigate your life and just stay at peace, right? Nowadays most of the people, they have everything, they can sustain themselves, they can pay their own bills, but most of us, we see that we are still unhappy, right? So in Gita it says that because we are unhappy, because matlab we are attached, like there's a word called moham, moh, which is attachment. So we are attached to these small 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 things, which leads to sadness, and the sadness, lingering sadness, leads to depression, right? If you detach yourself that, okay, fine, I have done my job, I have done the best that I could, now let the results come. If the result is good, I'll be steady. If the result is bad, I will be steady. So those are beautiful teachings that, that our ancient scriptures have. And that's why I never say that it's Indian mythology. I always say that it's Indian ancient history. And yes, of course, which the culture that was there, that was prevalent, which was a beautiful culture, it got, it got how to put it,
Recognized.
it got faded away when
Okay.
colonialism came. It got further faded away when all the invasions happened. uh, but now I think now we are at a point, we are in Kali Yuga, according to the scriptures we are in Kali Yuga now. So given the scenario and the circumstances, it's, I mean, like instead of reading, you know, instead of reading, instead of reading or instead of watching some, you know, some 30
Commercial.
minute
Mhm.
commercial or infomercial,
Okay.
you can, like, one can listen to a 30-minute shortcut version of Gita. It is not like, of course I might be a very old school person, but if you listen to Gita, you will even like it has the capacity of solving a problems that is faced by a man in his 20s, or that is problems that are faced by a family in their 50s or 60s. So I think now is because of what is happening in Kali Yuga. I think now it's high time people understand, not understand, people know what uh, our heritage is, what our history is, what our culture is, and not really like there are some liberals who look down upon the culture, and they don't really know what the, like, what the Upanishads and what our Vedas say, what our Upanishads say, and they are very much influenced by the Western culture. But like Indian culture or the Indian heritage before being colonized was way forward of its time, way forward, especially especially forward of these Europeans and American cultures. So I think one should take pride in, like, read about it and take pride that we belong to a culture where we can choose our Ishtadev, we can choose which form of deity we can connect with spiritually or whatever, which higher, like what form of higher power we can connect with. No other religion will, you know, uh, give us a choice or will give the devotee a choice. With, I don't think there is any other religion in the world that gives the devotee a choice that these are various forms of energy, whatever form of energy you connect with the most, you try to you try to connect and interact with that energy. I don't think apart from Sanatan dharma, any other dharma or any other religion does that, in my knowledge. So that's my 2 cents on Indian culture and Indian heritage.
Wow. I mean, that was like a lecture. I had to take notes to ask some questions. The first question is you mentioned Vrindavan. So I am sorry, help me here. Like, where is it? Is it like a mythological place or is actually a place in India?
uh 1 second. Vrindavan is a city in Uttar Pradesh. Sorry, I just uh, my little one is
Okay.
1 second. Yes, so where is Vrindavan? Vrindavan is a city in Uttar Pradesh. It's in Mathura,
Okay. Okay.
and all. So it's said that when Krishna was growing up, right? When Krishna was growing up, he was like he grew up there. That's why it's so, dear to the Krishna devotees. So Radha Krishna's entire story, the Gopi and the Gopiya story. So it's like, what do you say? So that's the, so in Vrindavan there's a place called Gokul. So there Krishna is said to, so in is said to spend his adolescence.
Okay. So it's actually a place and people still live there, or is there a temple?
Yeah, so Vrindavan is an actual place.
Okay.
People live there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Like how
yeah,
like
yeah,
how
please
it's
carry on.
Kashi. Yeah. So you have heard of Kashi, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a famous spot for spiritual people. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kashi is in Varanasi. So it's the same thing. You have heard of Mathura?
Ha, Mathura is the legendary place, right?
Yes. So there it's a district in Vrindavan is a district in Mathura.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. Vrindavan is a city in Mathura district. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So there is this then Dwaraka is the still a myth, right? It's not actual place.
So it is said that Dwarka Dwarka is underwater.
Hmm.
That's what is said. Because it was written like when the Krishna avatara was born. So it was written that once he like all his jobs and all his responsibilities would be done, that is the end of Treta Yuga and the beginning of Kali Yuga. Treta Yuga ended when Mahabharat, like the Mahabharata, the Pandavas, when like they died
Hmm.
and Krishna died. So it was destined that all his vanshaj, that is his lineage, they will bicker and they will fight amongst themselves and they'll die. Dwarka will be destroyed, it will go underwater, and then Krishna will be like Krishna will be hit by hunter's arrows. All this was predestined. So it is believed that Dwarka is right now underwater.
Okay.
But yeah, but I think studies are still going on.
Okay.
So let's see.
Yeah, that's why my question. Like, when I heard the term Brindavan, so it sounded like a mythological place, and I wanted to ensure whether it's still existing or it's
No, so it's very much Vrindavan exists. Uh, there's a story, right? When Krishna was, I'm sure you've heard about that story. So Krishna lifted Govardhan, like a mountain, with his little finger
yeah.
when we were kids, right? So that mountain is called Govardhan Parvat. That Parvat also is there.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah, this is like a I almost got back to my childhood. I used to read this weekly magazine stories, and most of them used to be from Mahabharata and Ramayana, and most of what you
yeah.
said is true. And the controversial things, I agree to them as well. Like, I don't know why you have to celebrate. Even this, since you had put across a controversial topic, I'll also put across a controversial topic. So they celebrate or they try to have a faction separately for LGBTQ. I don't know. Like, I don't support that because I feel they are already part of a community. They don't need to be a separate community, is what I feel. Because even in
Yes.
Indian mythology, transgenders are considered to be superior beings than the male and female, as you were explaining. Even we have a special avatar, right? Lord Shiva and Parvati together. So
Ardhanarishwar.
I don't know why, because of this. Some cultures from the Western are good for us, and we should do it, and it's optional. Like, it's optional to the individual, but not all. As you said, like this Men's Day, Women's Day. I certainly agree to that, and it's a topic to be discussed and debated. Good that you put across.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, see, I don't, I'm not against anyone's preferences. Everyone has their own preference as long as they are happy and in peace, in whatever preferences. But I really don't see a point of this again, the Pride Month, right? Again, it's a Western concept. I don't know the origins of it, so I will not go into it. But I do know that we don't need a Pride Month in India. The youth of India should know that
Exactly.
we are in a country. Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the youth of India who actually are very actively a part of this should know that they belong to a country where there are transgender temples. Literally, we worship transgender gods, like so uh, I don't need a Westerner coming and lecturing me. You should treat transgenders equal. No, I'm sorry. You should like. uh, we are in a country where we have Ardhan Areshwar, that is a, like, that is a deity. We are worshipping the deity. So yeah, I mean,
I mean, it gets
I
to a
don't.
point where they are having a propaganda and making it like a proselytization, right? Converting to a particular religion. So, I was just recollecting this in my screenplay workshop today that even in cartoon they have introduced this agenda now. So, who watches cartoon? Kids around 5 6, and why do you want to instill such a kind of thing at the very young age and in cartoon? I mean, there's a bisexual cow. I mean, what's the logic of this? So yeah, it gets annoying when you go to that point, and right now Hollywood is failing because of that.
Yes, and research, and I'm not saying this, but research says that a kid cannot make decisions unless and until they are 7 and above.
Hmm.
Yes, it's true that the brain development happens till the age of 50, but a kid can take, a very intelligent kid can take decisions starting from the age of 7 and above, not before that. If you are saying that, oh, my kid is feeling that she or he is a cat, so I will say that, okay, my kid identifies like as a cat, so I will treat that my kid as a cat. No, your kid, like, medically, backed with research, your kid is not capable to make that decision. He or she is not capable to make that decision. So I think parents are also, and I don't understand these, what do you say, there's a term, right? Soft parenting or gentle parenting, where kids are throwing tantrums and the parents just don't say anything because they think that the kid might be going through a lot of things. Like, if the kid is acting out, you discipline the kid in your own way. Be assertive. You don't have to raise your hand, but you have to be assertive. So I don't understand. I think the more we are, you know uh, going away, or the more we are, I don't know, I think that even our generation, we have become very less assertive. We have to stand on our ground. We have to stand on the principles and the ethics that uh, we ourselves have made.
Yeah. So we are digressing. I just realized, but then
Yes.
it's a good digression. So also another task for you. Like this needs separate topic, right? We covered different topics. So please find case studies in movies since you are a movie aficionado, and come back to discuss this podcast. Okay. Let's jump to the case study now. What is your movie recommendation for the audience today? And please start with the story of the movie. Yeah.
So my recommendation is this Telugu movie. It's titled Karthikeya 2, and it's not the usual masala Telugu movie, but it's a very very beautifully made movie, where they have woven fantasy and Indian history, and with Lord Krishna in the middle. uh, in a, like, in short, the story is that when Krishna knew that he was about to die, so before before he left his body, there's a so one of his disciples, he called one of his disciples, and he gave his anklet to that disciple. He says that, listen, Kali Yuga is about to come, and Kali Yuga is supposed to be the worst of all the yugas. So again, I'm a little bit of digression. So it is said that Kali Yuga will be the worst of all the yugas, and when the injustice will be at the extreme, right? So each yuga is some crores years, and so Kali Yuga is just some 1,000 years have passed. But it's told that when the injustice will be at its height, at its peak, then Vishnu's last avatar, called named Kalki, he will come and he will just massacre everything, and the Kali Yuga will end, and then again it will start from the beginning. Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, Kali Yuga. So that's the cycle. So we are in the last Yuga, Kali Yuga. So, so he tells his disciple that Dwapar Yuga is about to end, and Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga is about to end, and Kali Yuga is about to come.
Okay.
Uh, Kali Yuga is
About to
yeah,
begin.
yeah, about to begin. Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Yes, Kali Yuga is about to begin, and there will be a lot of injustice in Kali Yuga, and there will be a lot of Mahamari. Mahamari means epidemic in Kali Yuga. And my anklet, and there will be one such epidemic that will be very, very dangerous, and my anklet will will have all the inscriptions, which will be a solution to this problem, but it should not go in the wrong hands, because in Kaliya very handful people, like there will be handful of people who will selflessly who would want to work for other people, and who would want to use this anklets like for a selfless purpose, and until and unless we get that, you need to find a place to hide it, and that's the backstory of it. Now in the present day, we have our protagonist who's a non-believer. He's a doctor. He has a very curious mindset, and he's a non-believer in the sense he doesn't believe in what do you say,
Supernatural phenomena.
no, not supernatural. He believes anything that is backed by logic. He will join his hands and pray to God, but he will not believe. He does not believe in rituals. Okay, so the yagyas that we do, or any rituals, but he'll respect if others are doing it. Like in logical circumstances, he will respect it from a distance. uh, but he is of a very curious mindset, and it's about how he gets entangled with and there is an archaeologist who is researching about studying about Lord Krishna and about this anklet, and he is researching, and how he that archaeologist crosses paths with this doctor, and how the doctor starts on a journey to retrieve this anklet. And you've watched this movie called National Treasure?
Ah, Nicolas Cage. It's a famous movie,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. So it's on the similar lines, how Nicolas Cage hunts for a treasure, and he kind of finds clues in various historical places and historical documents.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that only. So there are a lot of like they go to they do go to a part of Dwarka which is still, very much functioning. So they go to that part, and then they search for clues there. Then they go to Govardhan Parvat, and then there is uh, some Radha Kund, which is a place there. So they go there, they go get some clues and everything. So it's a very nicely woven story. A very, you can say it's a spiritual thriller. So like using all the history and using all the historical places that exist, they have created this story, and the story is about how he retrieves the anklet.
Yeah. So I have so many questions before the technical.
And
Yeah.
one thing that
Yeah.
this movie establishes very nicely is that if you research any of the deities, that may be Shiva, that may be Vishnu, that may be Vishnu's any of the avatars, that is Krishna is one. So before being a disciple, before praying, you need to understand, to be closer to your deity, to be closer to your Ishtadev. You need to understand. You need to understand that Ishtadev, you need to understand that deity. So this movie establishes that uh, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, they are not just gods, they are our ancestors. And they had a very good amalgamation of strength, vigor, and intellect. And to in order to follow them, in order to follow what they are preaching or teaching or what they have said, you need to first understand them. So that's what the movie establishes in a very beautiful way. Of course, most of, not 100% is true. Most of it is fantasy. Most of it is, of course, there is no anklet and stuff. But the historical references that they have used to communicate this beautiful chain of thought, that in order to, don't blindly follow your Lord. If you really want to connect with your Lord, with your Ishtadev, understand your Ishtadev. So that is a beautiful chain of thought that I feel that the movie has uh, communicated.
Yeah. So the first obvious question that comes to my mind, I'm not sure whether I am displaying the part two poster or part one. So we have picked up specifically the second part, right? Karthikeya 2. So what is the correlation between part one and part two?
The only correlation is the actor. I
Okay.
have not watched the first part, because both the movies are standalone.
Oh, standalone
Uh,
sequel. Okay.
yeah, standalone. So the first part also is, I think, I have read the synopsis of the first part, but I have not watched the first part.
Hmm.
Second part, I actually watched it is because I watched a scene where Anupam Kher talks about, don't mistake Lord Krishna, like don't mistake Lord Krishna as, as this supernatural, out of the world deity. He very much walked on this surface, like on this planet, on this surface ground on this planet, and we have so many places where we can see the evidences. So that scene, actually, I found it very interesting, and then I started looking, where can I watch this movie? And eventually I found the Hindi dubbed version in YouTube. And I started watching it, and then I was like, oh my god, this is like national treasure. But here the treasure is the treasure of knowledge.
Yeah. So the next question is so in South India, Kartikeya Subramanya Muruga denotes the son of second son of Shiva. So we,
Yeah.
as you were explaining, I was surprised. I mean, I didn't go through the synopsis completely. I was thinking that's related to Subramanya, but then the story is related to Krishna. Why the title Kartikeya?
Because the movie protagonist's name is Karthikeya.
Okay, okay. Because the animation also, there's a snake on the title. So Lord Subramania. So in South India, he is or what do you say? Subramania is a popular god, almost as popular as Shiva in North, right? So that's my
Okay.
confusion. Okay. Now this third question which I had related to this movie is Indiana Jones. Have you watched Indiana Jones?
I have watched not all of
Okay.
them, but I watched just one,
So.
uh,
Uh,
which had his son, like, where
Oh,
his
the
son.
father and son. Okay, Sean Connery, James Bond acted.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. That
that's
one.
not the popular one, but yeah, it's still good movie. So, is it similar on the making? Like, do you still get that adventure experience?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. We do get that. But as I said,
National Treasure.
the yeah, movies like this, they are after, like, they are after a treasure, right?
Hmm.
They're after a treasure, and like literal treasure. Right here, the journey is the same, like filled with adventures and weaving in the historical data points, leveraging the places that are still, that are still available. But here, the treasure in the form of the anklet. Here, the treasure is the knowledge that uh, Sri Krishna has left behind in his anklet, or the solution that Sri Krishna has left behind in his anklet. So here, knowledge is treasure, but the journey and everything is the, like, the path is the similar to that of Indiana Jones or the National Treasure movies.
Okay, so now let's delve into the making part. So, you have watched it in Hindi, and I found that we have translated versions in Malayalam, Tamil, and couple of more languages, I guess. So, it the story is very what do you say, intriguing, right? And it needs to be supported with good visual effects and direction, writing in the sense how the characters are developed, because if you are watching a setting and if the characters doesn't stick or relate to you, then it's going to be like a there's so many mythological and adventurous movies which have flopped at the box office because of there is no, you know, empathetic character or strong writing. So how good is the writing here? And the translated version Hindi, have they done justice with good dialogues and characters? How have they developed the characters and visual effects? So please talk about the movie in technical terms.
The visual effects, they have kept it very simple and smart. So all the stories of, Lord Krishna and his anklet and everything, so all that story, the flashbacks to the Dwapar Yuga, all that flashback is done in animation, beautiful animation there is. And Krishna's part is done in simple animation, and the present is again the present yuga, that is the Kali Yuga, is normally short. But I think the major part is that they have, you know they have traveled to a lot of cities, from Mathura to Gujarat to Himachal Pradesh, so they have the scenic beauty. So they have captured,
Do you
that's
mean
that's
the
what,
real locations?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have gone. So uh, they show that, okay, so of course, if they get one clue in, say, Govardhan Parvat, right? So their next clue will be somewhere in, like, the next clue will be hidden somewhere in Himachal Pradesh, right? In some cave in Himachal Pradesh, or in some mountain top in Himachal Pradesh. So they go there and they retrieve that clue. So I think the beauty of it is not just the animation, but the beauty of it is, their willingness to show, what do you say, their willingness to show different locations. So they actually did go to that location. And there was this one part where, it's a beautiful part where they go to, I'm sorry if I take the name wrong, but it's called the Radha Kund. Okay, so it's a small cave behind Govardhan Parvat.
Hmm.
uh, and it's a place where nobody wants to go. Even I don't know why. I don't know the reason why. So nobody wants to go to that area. So they go to that area. It's called the Radha Kund, and there the clue is, like, their next clue is there. And of course, it's a cave and it's in a very, very isolated area. So uh, and it's an old cave, like, it's an old cave for, like, you know crores and crores of years. Nobody went, centuries and centuries, nobody went there. And uh, uh, Karthikeya, he says that. So there was a scene very, very early in the movie, when he was a non-believer. Uh, there was a mantra, there was a jap going on in the temple and the hospital. He's a doctor, so the hospital that he works in, he gets out of the hospital. He tells the priest that because of this jap, uh, there's a lot of noise that is created. And patients are getting disturbed. So then the priest says that these jobs are written in such a way that they produce vibrations, and these vibrations have the, you know, have the power to uh, break through glass, or have the power to break through glass and bring in the light. That's what is written uh, in our scriptures. That's what the priest says. So now they are in this cave. Back to this scene. So they are in this cave, and uh, uh, what do you say? So now they are in this cave. The heroine, and his maternal uncle. So
Okay.
his maternal uncle accompanies him in this entire trip,
Okay.
and uh, then he's like, okay, why is why, like, how do where do we search? It's pitch dark.
Hmm.
So they start, like, he starts chanting the mantra, the jap. He does the jap, like, and when he starts doing it, because of the, so there was some glass, uh there was some glass seals in between those rocks. There were some glass seals, ceilings, or glass, not ceilings, some glass seals, or some glass related
Surface, you can call.
object,
Okay.
surface. Yeah, surface that was there. And because of the job that they did, the vibrations that were produced at certain volume, you know how opera
Frequency.
singers, they sing and the glass cracks, that's what it shows, right?
Frequency,
So
like, yeah.
yeah, the frequency. So the three of them, they start doing that job, and the glass surface, they start to crack. Okay, and it's all and once they crack, the light enters the cave, and once the light enters the cave, they retrieve the next clue.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like, so they are trying to say that even the mantras that we have, they were not just written just like that, just for the sake of it. Even the mantras that we have, they have some scientific, it can be ancient science, but they had a science and the logic behind it. So that's a beautiful thing that the writer has done. So it's just and yes, initially that I said that in order to understand and be close to your ishtadev, or be close to uh, your kind of frequency, that may be Shiva, that may be Krishna, and that may be Hanuman, you need to understand. So that comes beautifully in the writing.
Okay. So there's at least four characters is what I see in the poster. So Karthikeya is the lead character, and how does the heroine come here? So are they using the heroine only for heroine's sake, or she has a good role?
No, she has a good role. So I told you about the archaeologist, right, who was actually uh, researching about Krishna.
Hmm.
So for some, like, due to circumstances, I'm not going to disclose that. So
Okay, saving a spoiler.
due to circumstances, he dies, and the heroine is the granddaughter of the archaeologist. So there are certain gaps that Kartikeya is not able to solve, but the heroine, she is able to solve, because of the knowledge that she has from her grandfather, and the knowledge that she has from her studies, her education.
Yeah, probably a stupid question here. So do they fall in love with each other in the movie?
It's very subtle. It's not the main focus of the story. It's very subtle.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, it's a they have to have a commercial aspect as well, right? So,
So
okay, nice.
the
Yeah.
commercial aspect is, there are some scenes, there are some over the top scenes, there are some scenes where Kartikeya is the savior. He is fighting with, like, 10 people, at one time. So those scenes are there, but it's not an out and out commercial movie. As I said, it's a spiritual thriller.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah, you seem to be fascinated with the spiritual and mythological, what do you say, aspects of this movie. Apart from these two, technically, which attracted you or like impressed you in the movie? You are a
I
writer
think
and you do read books, and what else? I mean, cinematography, you may not have in-depth knowledge in filmmaking, but then you would have, like, you can judge a good shot and good camera work, right? So, the technical aspects, apart from the spiritual and the mythological references, what attracted you the most?
I think there are some very beautiful. Of course, the movie is shot in various beautiful locations, so that just adds to the
Camera work.
beauty of the movie,
Okay.
the camera work.
Hmm.
And then uh, there is a scene where I feel that the special effects was very good.
Hmm.
Towards the end, there is a scene. I don't want to disclose the scene, but there is a scene with a lot of snakes and Karthikeya. Because like there are the reason before and after it, I don't want to disclose. I just want to talk about the scene. So
Yeah,
there's a
you're saving a
scene
lot of spoilers today.
so there's a scene where it's like a so in order to get something, Kartikeya has to walk through a path that is filled with snakes.
Hmm.
That's because Krishna's protector was Sheshnag. Okay, Sheshnag is supposed to be the ultimate supreme or the lord of the snakes or something of that sort. So, of course, to retrieve something, Kartikeya has to walk. It's been shown that Kartikeya has to walk uh, cross a path which is filled with very very like poisonous snakes, and the way it was shot and the special effects in that scene was like they were very 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 good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So much technical information. Let's take please. What kind of fun activity plan? I'm thinking. Yeah, one important fact that I forgot to mention: Karthikeya 2 won the Best Picture for National Awards in Telugu category. So, I guess a few
Oh.
years back they had started giving in language-wise category. So it was only Best Feature Film before, but in recent years they are giving out for every language. So in 2022 it won the best feature film in national awards for Telugu film category. It's a such a good movie. And the first part was successful, box office hit, and that motivated them to go for the second part, and this was a blockbuster. And that's why it was translated to many languages. It's available in Tamil and Malayalam as well. Yeah, so now two activity we can do, fun activity. One is popular hero from Bollywood or any other industry whom you know. If not for the actor, his name is Nikhil Siddhartha. So he's a probably would have had experience, but for people who are watching outside the Telugu language circle, so he's a newbie, right? So when you watch some other language movie and the star is not well versed with you, you tend to think him to be a newbie. So uh, who would you choose to play? Any Bollywood actor or any popular actor from other industry for the main role?
uh, for this if for the main role,
Yeah.
uh, I think Rajkumar Rao would be a good from Bollywood like
Uh,
industry.
can you give me any movies that he acted in? I can't. I don't know his name.
Rajkumar Rao acted in Stree
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's good.
and this one.
No, no,
Mm,
Sri is enough. I watched both parts, so I know Rajkumar Rao. I just didn't know that he was. So in the character,
and uh, even what's his name?
Vicky, I know him by Vicky because I watched Sri, right?
And even Pankaj Tripathi would be like not a younger version, but if the character would be a little older, most
Okay,
older,
okay. So,
and
for
Pankaj Tripathi.
the uncle and the heroine,
Uncle and the heroine. I mean, I think I'll go with Uncle Pankaj Tripathi, Rajkumar Rao, and heroine.
getting the street cast here. Okay, you're giving ideas to Bollywood.
Yeah, if you now that you've said it, yeah, Shraddha Kapoor.
Love Shraddha Kapoor. So I would definitely watch this movie for Shraddha Kapoor. Okay, now the second thing is let's change the story. Minor
Mm.
tweak. Instead of a person from India, what do you say, a scientist, an Indian scientist, we are going to change the story that there's a foreign researcher or archaeologist coming to India, and somehow we may let's develop the story later, but we assume that he gets caught up in this treasure hunt and he's the protagonist of the movie. So, whom would you cast from the world? What do you say? A actors pool, like especially from Hollywood, people whom know. Obviously, I would say Indiana Jones, the Harrison Ford, and Nicolas Cage would be best fit. But let's avoid these two actors and anyone from
Agarwal.
this generation or any other generation apart from these two.
I think Robert Pattinson. He would be a good choice.
Robert
Uh,
Batman. Okay.
yeah, or even Dev Patel.
Dev Patel. Oh, Dev Patel. Yeah, he's a Hollywood Indian actor. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good choice. Nice.
because see, ultimately you need to really understand and research about the. I wouldn't say Indian culture, but you need to really read what is there in the uh, or have like a slight idea about the stories that we have heard growing up, the Indian, the children's stories that we have heard growing up.
Mm.
And maybe Robert Pattinson instead of the uncle, it can be a two hero movie where Dev Patel is the is the main guy, and Robert Pattinson is the his partner instead of the uncle. So both of them can go, because if you want to weave in Indian history,
Mm.
Indian ancient history, logically from a writer's angle, it has to make sense. Or if Robert Pattinson was in the lead, then Dev Patel has to be the supporting character or
Yeah,
the
that's
partner.
obvious. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to kind of tell that, what, we listened to stories when we were growing up about Govardhan Parvat, about Radha Kund, about Dwarka, etc., etc. So the concepts, even we can relate to it. Of course we don't have knowledge about Upanishads and Vedas and all, but we relate to it because we know, oh yeah, when we were growing up, we know that there is something called Govardhan Parvat. Oh, we know that Hanuman carried a mountain because there is a story about it, right? So we can relate to it even though we don't have in-depth knowledge about it. So if the movie were to made in a foreign language, in a Hollywood language, there needs to be one Indian, like one character of Indian origin, to kind of connect that, okay, when we were growing up, this is the story behind it, and then from then they can take it.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to make this in the fun activity. I didn't mean to make this in English. In the same setting, a foreigner cast as a
Oh,
dancer.
then
Yeah, but your
Robert
angle was also good. So along with the Hollywood actor or the foreign actor, there should be another Indian actor to make the
Yeah, so
probably.
Dev Patel and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. What about our Spider-Man, Tom Holland? Did you watch Uncharted? He did a good job, even though he didn't satisfy the gamers.
I intend to watch Uncharted. I have it on my list, but I've not watched it. But I know that he's a good actor and he's famous. But I think I don't know. I somehow pictured
No,
Dave
I
Patel.
feel after watching Uncharted, I feel he could pull off the role. Okay, he may not be the best fit, but he'll convince the audience that he's that much.
I recently watched a movie called The Lighthouse,
Uh,
and that's why I kind of
yeah,
got.
Pattinson is a great actor. I mean, who could pull off Batman after Vampire? Okay, and convince people that it's a good Batman. Okay, let's wrap the fun activity now. Coming back to the movie. Um Obviously, you have come up with a topic and we explored the topic for a long duration, then we jumped into the movie, so that shows that how much you're fascinated and what all points you have put across, that's more convincing for anyone to watch. But this is a Telugu movie and you watched it in a Hindi dubbed version, and there is a Tamil and Malayalam dubbed version also. Like, what would you say to the audience that this is a movie that you have to watch crossing the language barrier? Like nowadays, this came in 2014, 1 year before Bahubali. Imagine if this movie got clicked as Bahubali, right? So I feel this movie has more mythological and spiritual value than Bahubali. I haven't watched Bahubali as well, so from what I've heard about both Bahubali and
Karthikeya.
yeah,
Karthikeya 2 came out in
no, I'm saying the
2020.
first part, Karthikeya 1.
Oh, acha,
So
Karthikeya 1.
it came in 2014. If that had got this kind of recognition, which Bahubali got,
Yes.
yeah, that would have been good for this movie. But anyway, okay. So what would you say to the audience to watch this movie, irrespective of the language and like I have watched movies even though I did not have a subtitle, English subtitle, and I went and watched it. So I just wanted to experience the movie. So is it that kind of movie that even if you do not know the language, please do watch it? It gives you some kind of experience, traveling journey that you can't go to this place physically, but this movie takes you. So the convincing factor, sell the movie.
I mean, the fact that you said that this movie has been dubbed in multiple language shows that there is interest of people in the story that they want to tell, right? There is a lot of interest, and again, I understand some people may not get the Telugu version, may not understand the Telugu version uh, because of various factors. So for them, if it is available in Hindi, I would, because the dubbed versions also have done justice. It's not just like it's not a, you know, your random Telugu Hindi
Hollywood
like Telugu
dubbed movies.
conversion or Telugu Hindi translation. They did a very very good job in the dubbing also. They have, would you say, the dubbing artists, they have done a very good job in kind of maintaining what the lines, uh, maintaining kind of the decency and the integrity of the lines and the dialogue. So I think if it's available in Tamil,
Malayalam.
Malayalam, and Hindi, so if it's available in your preferred languages, I think you should go ahead and watch it. And if it's not available, then yes, subtitles are there to help you out, but you should definitely give it a watch, because aside, even if you subtract the mythological mythology part, for the lack of a better word, the mythical or the mythological part, it's a pretty entertaining movie. It's a movie about searching for the knowledge, the actual treasure, which is the knowledge, and the journey and the adventures related to it. So if not for the mythological aspect, it's like, even if you don't want to watch it for the mythological aspect, it's an entertaining movie at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay, cool. So that's your selling factors, guys. And It's available on Z5, I guess. So apart from that, it's also available on YouTube. So there's at least Hindi dubbed version I see. Probably if I search, then I'll get a Tamil dubbed version as well in YouTube. So it's free to watch, 7.9, 2 hour, 30 minutes, and I said it's the best picture for Telugu in National Awards 2022. So it's just not a random adventure movies with some mythological references. It's a super good adventure movie. Okay, coming back to your experience, fifth time you had a break, but you came back for the fifth episode, and it coincidentally it has become 50th episode as well for us. So, how was this experience, and what do you think of this live podcast, especially when it's only voice, right? So, I specifically ensured that I call only the voice only shows as podcasts, not the video talk shows. Nowadays, it's predominant. Everybody has like two mic setup, and then they sit opposite each other. They capture video as well as, and then they call it as podcast. But initially, the podcasts were all in platforms like apps, Spotify, Apple, and we used to listen. I used to listen, so that was my inspiration. Whenever I was going to office, I was standing in bus, not getting a seat, so I used to put my headphones and listen to a podcast about some random science stuff or something. So I have listened to a lot of audio only podcast, and even in YouTube, I used to watch only audio only podcast. So that's my inspiration for keeping it just audio only. What do you think of this format, and how is the experience of five podcasts now? You're again and again coming up with very unique topics. Where do you get such topics, first of all? And then please tell the experience.
uh, First of all, thank you for having me 5 times. I know it's been a long break, but I mean, I have a lot of things over the week, days that keep me kind of busy, and by the end of the day, I crash pretty early and I wake up pretty early as 4:30. So yes, it's been a long break in between, but yeah, it's always nice to be back and discuss such topics with you. And it's more than a podcast. I feel it's a dialogue, and it's a nice conversation that I have. And I don't know, I mean, thank you for saying that these topics are unique, but I don't think that these topics are unique because whenever I watch a movie that really hits me, or it really affects me in a good way or in a disturbing way, I kind of uh, I kind of think that okay, what can be the core of my discussion point if I were to discuss this movie as a case study in the podcast, what would be the core topic? I mean, and I can have multiple, you and I can have multiple discussions on this movie, like various tangents on this movie. We can talk about the history of Lord Krishna, or we can talk completely on the technical aspect, or we can talk about the dialogues. Like, so there are so many different tangents that we can discuss on a movie. But whenever I kind of pitch a topic to you for a podcast, it's usually what resonates with me. And I have been lucky enough till now. You have not rejected any of the topic. So yeah, that's my process.
Okay, and the format, the particular format that we do, like live online or like uploaded voice only.
I think it's a good format, and we should continue having this format. The reason being that it's very convenient even for the guest speaker,
Hmm.
as well as for the person who is producing it.
Hmm.
It's very convenient. Yes, it has its own risks, but that's what gives it a very raw feeling. And there's nothing airbrush about it, and it's in real time. So in a world where everything is virtual, something in real time is always a breath of fresh air. So
Yeah, I'm always fascinated with the live because you'll be red-handedly caught it right, so you will be as candid as possible. So I always love that live format, be it gaming or any talk show. So in future, my goal is like most probably more all the talk shows should be live. So it has to be like very candid and because everything is what do you say adulterated or edited like TV TRP ratings. So YouTube has become like a YouTube is the main contributor along with Instagram for this ADHD, right? So that's the reason like people should be hooked in for long talk shows and like the knowledge that if you sit and watch a 1 hour show, you should take away something, just like a movie, right? You shouldn't just watch a stupid movie and come back. You should take away something like that. And this is such kind of movie. So yeah, I thought I was digressing, but it's on the topic. So Karthikeya is one such movie. If you sit and watch, you're going to derive something valuable to your life as well as your what do you say knowledge. And thank you so much, Sharmila, for coming up with a great topic and a great movie. And do you have any funny dialogues or any quote from the movie you would like to say? We can end with that.
when it's not funny, but
Anything, yeah.
yeah, I might be repeating this, but Anupam Kher says, no, not Anupam Kher, Karthikeya says that, so there's a scene where Anupam Kher talks about Lord Krishna and every, he describes the perceptions and his study and everything. So Karthikeya says that today I understood, sir, that before worshipping, or no, today I understood, sir, that if you want to be close to your God, you first have to understand your God. You first have to understand the higher energy. So that is something that really stayed with me, and that is something that I really took away, and I really believe in that on a personal level.
Okay, cool. Yes, once again, thank you so much for bringing such a unique topic and a movie. And thank you so much, audience. Do check it out, Karthikeya 2. There are two movies. We are talking about the second part, and it's adventure plus spiritual genre. So, a great movie. And yeah, Shamla has given a new impossible goal 1,000 episodes, but that's it's not impossible, but I'm not sure whether I can be persistent till 1,000. But next year the goal is to double it, right? So in 25 December 2023, I started by it was just a random thing. I was not even having any goal or ambition or mission on podcast. So we just thought, okay, there are people in the hub that who doesn't like to come on camera, so they are camera shy. So just for that format. So Aprajita was one person who was camera shy. So we, I thought, okay, if you're camera shy, we'll do voice only. We'll record the voice and we'll upload. And that's how it started podcast show. So and I'm glad that I hit 50 this year. So next year goal is to double it, and we'll see. Eventually, it may become 1,000. So I'm not promising you, Shamila, but I'll try 1,000. Yeah, cool. Without any further delay, let's wrap it. We are making Sharmila wait for a long time on a Saturday. Okay, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy listening to this episode. I'll catch you in another live stream, video, or podcast. And until then, I'm DawsoN signing off with Sharmila. Bye bye.
Bye.